Question 1. In a situation where formal requirements conflict with emerging cyber threats, a multinational e-commerce company faces legal challenges regarding its handling of user data under conflicting national laws. The company operates in the United States, the European Union, and China, all of which have distinct legal requirements regarding data protection and privacy. Under the General Data Protection Regulation (EDR), the company must ensure strict data protection measures, including obtaining explicit user consent before collecting personal data. However, under China's cybersecurity law, the company is required to store Chinese citizens' data within China, making cross-border data transfers challenging. Meanwhile, U.S. regulations under the Cloud Act allow government agencies to request access to stored data, including data held by U.S. based companies overseas. If a European user files a complaint against the company for violating GDPR due to compliance with the U.S. Cloud Act, which legal principle would most likely govern the resolution of this conflict? A territoriality principle, which allows each country to enforce its own laws within its borders. B. Supremacy clause, which gives international treaties priority over national laws. C. Doctrine of necessity, which permits violations of law in emergency situations. D. Comity principle, which encourages mutual recognition of foreign laws and cooperation. Answer: D. Comity principle, which encourages mutual recognition of foreign laws and cooperation. Explanation: this scenario involves a conflict of laws where a company must comply with different national legal frameworks. The comity principle applies when multiple jurisdictions have overlapping or conflicting legal requirements, encouraging states to cooperate and recognize foreign legal decisions where possible. GDPR enforces data protection rights, while China's data localization laws restrict cross-border transfers, and the U.S. Cloud Act provides legal access to data stored overseas. Courts often rely on comity to balance these conflicts, determining the extent to which foreign laws should be recognized. The territoriality principle A governs jurisdiction but does not resolve conflicts between international laws. The supremacy clause B applies within certain legal systems G or within member states but does not override sovereign frameworks globally. The doctrine of necessity C is relevant in cases of emergencies or national security but is not applicable to standard legal conflicts in data protection. Question 2. When implementing new protocols in a shared environment, a major cloud service provider (CSP) faces a lawsuit due to a breach that exposed customer financial data. The CSP claims it followed industry standard security measures, but the affected businesses argue that it failed to comply with contractual obligations regarding data security. The lawsuit raises questions about the CSP's legal responsibility. Cloud computing laws. Which of the following would be the most relevant legal consideration in determining liability? A. Shared responsibility model, which divides security obligations between cloud providers and users. B. Force majeure clause, which exempts liability for unforeseeable catastrophic events. C. Safe harbor provision, which shields companies from liability if they meet regulatory requirements. D. Privity of contract doctrine, which limits legal claims to direct contractual parties. Answer: a shared responsibility model, which divides security obligations between cloud providers and users. Explanation: under cloud computing laws, the shared responsibility model dictates that cloud service providers, CSPs, and customers share security obligations. The provider is responsible for securing infrastructure, while customers must manage access controls, configurations, and data protection within the cloud. If the resulted from the provider's failure to secure its infrastructure, e.g. an unpatched vulnerability, it could be liable. However, if the breach stemmed from customer misconfiguration, e.g. exposing data due to improper access controls, liability may shift. The force majeure clause B applies to unforeseeable events like natural disasters, but not to security breaches due to negligence. The safe harbor provision C protects businesses if they strictly comply with regulatory requirements, which may not apply if contractual obligations were breached. The privity of contract doctrine D limits claims to contractual parties, but does not absolve CSPs from liability for data protection failures. Question 3. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted, a national cybersecurity agency launches an investigation into a ransomware attack that targeted critical infrastructure, including hospitals and financial institutions. The perpetrators demanded payment in cryptocurrency, making tracing transactions difficult. The agency seeks to freeze the attacker's assets and recover stolen funds, but the decentralized nature cryptocurrencies presents legal challenges. Under existing financial cyber laws, what legal mechanism would be most effective in addressing the issue? A. Anti-money laundering and know your customer (KIC) regulations, which require financial institutions to verify user identities. B. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which protects online platforms from liability for user-generated content. C. Network and Information Security (NIS) Directive, which mandates cybersecurity measures for essential services, and the EU habeas corpus guarantees the right to challenge unlawful detention. Answer A. Anti-money laundering and know your customer (KIC) regulations, which require financial institutions to verify user identities. Explanation: cryptocurrency transactions are often pseudo-anonymous, making it difficult to track and freeze stolen assets. EML and KIC regulations require cryptocurrency exchanges and financial institutions to verify customer identities, report suspicious transactions, and prevent money laundering. These regulations enable authorities to trace ransomware payments, block illicit transactions, and seize criminal assets. The Communications Decency Act (B) is unrelated to financial fraud and applies to content liability rather than cybercrime enforcement. Directive C improves cybersecurity resilience in critical sectors but does not address cryptocurrency transactions. Habeas corpus D is a fundamental human rights principle concerning detention but does not apply to financial crime investigations. Question 4. In a high-stakes environment where multiple challenges arise due to conflicting data protection laws, a multinational corporation faces a dilemma regarding the transfer of personal data across borders. The company operates in the European Union (EU), the United States, and China, each of which has stringent data protection regulations. The AEU enforces the General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR), which restricts transfers outside the AEU unless adequate protections exist. The United States relies on sector-specific privacy laws, while China's cybersecurity law mandates strict data localization requirements. The corporation must decide whether to store customer data centrally in one jurisdiction or maintain region-specific data centers. What is the legally compliant approach for the corporation under international cyber law? A. Centralize data storage in the United States and comply with local privacy regulations. B. Maintain separate regional data centers to comply with the respective data protection laws. C. Transfer all data to neutral country with flexible cyber laws for simplified compliance. D. Rely on standard contractual clause (SCCS) and privacy shield agreements to transfer data. Answer B. Maintain separate regional data centers to comply with the respective data protection laws. Explanation: international cyber law imposes significant restrictions on cross-border data transfers, particularly under GDPR, China's cybersecurity law, and U.S. sector-specific regulation (DDPR). European Union (EDR) mandates that personal data cannot be transferred outside AEU unless the receiving country ensures an adequate level of protection. Mechanisms such as standard contractual clause (SCCS) and binding corporate rules (EURUS) allow legal data transfers. China's cybersecurity law. China imposes strict data localization rules, requiring companies to store certain types of personal data within the country. Transferring data outside China requires security assessment by the Cyberspace Administration of China, CAC, United States. The U.S. lacks single comprehensive privacy law but regulates data protection through laws like the California Consumer Privacy Act (COPA) and Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act (HIPAA) in sector-specific contexts. Why the other options are incorrect. Centralize in the U.S. This would violate DDR since the U.S. is not deemed to provide adequate protection post-Shrum Roman Tuolin, which invalidated the EU.'s privacy shield. See neutral country storage. No single country universally satisfies the GDPR, China's cybersecurity law, and U.S. regulations simultaneously. DSCCS and Privacy Shield agreements. The EU.'s Privacy Shield has been invalidated, and SCCS alone may not satisfy China's stricter localization requirements. Regionalized data storage approach ensures compliance with different jurisdictions, reducing the risk of non-compliance penalties under these cyber laws. Question 5. While investigating inconsistencies across various units of a multinational financial institution, auditors discover that the organization's cloud service provider CSB, is storing and processing sensitive financial data across multiple jurisdictions, some of which lack robust cybersecurity protections. Under international cyber law, particularly regarding cloud security and compliance, what steps should the financial institution take to ensure regulatory compliance and mitigate legal risks? A. Encrypt all data at rest and in transit while relying on CSB compliance certifications. B. Establish a contractual agreement ensuring that a CSB follows the financial institution's internal security policies. C. Require that all data be processed only in jurisdictions with strong cybersecurity laws. D. Perform comprehensive risk assessment and implement multi-layered security frameworks including regulatory compliance audits. Answer D. Perform a comprehensive risk assessment and implement multi-layered security frameworks including regulatory compliance audits. Explanation: cloud computing introduces data sovereignty risks as laws vary by jurisdiction. International cyber law requires financial institutions to implement risk management frameworks ensuring compliance with regulations such as ISO 27001, International Standard for Information Security Management (GDIU). Strong protections for financial and personal data. U.S. Gramm-Leach-Bliley at GLBA regulates financial data security. BOSOR-MEI Global Banking Regulations. Risk management for cloud operations. Why the other options are incorrect. Encryption alone. While encryption is critical, it does not address jurisdictional compliance. Certain countries may mandate data access laws that weaken encryption-based protections. B. CSB agreement compliance. Internal security policies may not meet external regulatory standards DDR or ISO 27001. Contracts do not override legal compliance requirements. C. Jurisdictional storage restrictions. This limits business flexibility and may not always be feasible. Some countries permit data transfers if proper security controls exist. Multi-layered approach combining risk assessment, security frameworks, and regulatory compliance audits ensures that financial data remains protected while meeting global legal requirements. Question 6. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted by a large-scale ransomware attack, a government agency is forced to decide whether to pay the ransom to regain access to critical infrastructure data. The attackers demand payment in cryptocurrency, threatening to permanently delete all encrypted data otherwise. The agency must determine the legal and ethical considerations of responding to cyber extortion under international national cyber laws. What is the most legally compliant approach? A. Pay the ransom to protect public safety and recover operations as quickly as possible. B. Refuse payment and work with cybersecurity experts to recover systems through forensic methods. C. Engage in negotiations with the attackers to reduce the ransom demand while formulating a response strategy. D. Seek international law enforcement cooperation and apply cybercrime legislation to track and prosecute the attackers. Answer D. Seek international law enforcement cooperation and apply cybercrime legislation to track and prosecute the attackers. Explanation: under international and national cybercrime laws, paying ransoms to cyber criminals can be legally problematic. Budapest Convention on Cybercrime, Council of Europe, 2001, criminalizes extortion-based cybercrimes, emphasizing law enforcement cooperation over ransom payments. Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC sanctions, prohibits payments to sanctioned entities, potentially making ransom payments illegal. UK National Cyber Security Centre, SEC, and EU Cyber Resilience Act recommend not paying ransoms to deter future attacks. Why the other options are incorrect. Pay the ransom encourages future attacks and may violate laws prohibiting financial transactions with cybercriminal organizations. Refuse and rely on forensics alone. While incident response teams are vital, this approach does not leverage international cooperation, which is crucial in global cybercrime cases. C. Negotiate with attackers. Legal risks remain, as negotiating could still be interpreted as supporting cybercrime organizations. The most legally sound approach is international cooperation, cybercrime prosecution, and robust security framework, ensuring compliance with cyber laws while mitigating future ransomware threats. Question 7. A major technology firm is developing a new artificial intelligence AI system that automates decision-making for financial transactions. The AI system uses machine learning algorithms trained on vast datasets collected from customers worldwide. During an internal audit, concerns are raised about potential biases in the system, as well as compliance with global data protection laws such as DDA, China's Information Protection Law, (PEPL). What is the best course of action for the firm to ensure compliance while maintaining the efficiency of its AI system? A. Continue developing the AI system as planned, but implement disclaimer that decisions are automated and not legally binding. B. Conduct an AI ethics review and implement bias mitigation techniques while ensuring data collection complies with jurisdictional laws. C. Centralize all AI training datasets in single data center in the United States, ensuring uniform data processing compliance. D. Require users to sign form allowing the AI system to process their data, thereby mitigating legal risks. Answer B. Conduct an AI ethics review and implement bias mitigation techniques while ensuring data collection complies with jurisdictional laws. Explanation: AI systems that process personal data must comply with strict global data protection regulation (DDA). Requires transparency, fairness, and accountability in AI decision-making, especially when profiling or automating financial decisions. ECPA, California, USA. Grants consumers rights over how their data is used, including opting out of automated decision-making. China's PEPL heavily regulates AI-based data processing, requiring explicit user consent and adherence to security measures. Why the other options are incorrect. Disclaimer only. Legal disclaimers do not override regulatory obligation. GDPR, for example, mandates clear explainability. AI decisions. C. Centralized U.S. data processing, ignoring jurisdictional data laws. E.g., China's data localization rules can result in compliance failures. D. User consent form alone. Consent does not exempt companies from bias mitigation, fairness, and ethical considerations in AI decision-making. To comply with international AI regulations, companies must conduct AI ethics reviews, use bias mitigation techniques, and ensure data aligns with local laws. Question 8. A cybersecurity firm is hired by a multinational corporation to conduct penetration testing on its cloud-based infrastructure. However, during the assessment, the cybersecurity team inadvertently disrupts key services, leading to temporary downtime. The corporation is concerned about legal liability, compliance with ethical hacking laws, and potential regulatory fines. What is the most appropriate course of action for a cybersecurity firm to address this issue? A. Immediately halt testing and issue a public statement acknowledging the disruption. B. Inform the corporation's legal and its teams while documenting the incident as part of the security assessment. C. Continue testing without notifying the corporation to avoid potential legal consequences. D. Delete all records of the incident and claim that testing did not cause the disruption. Answer B. Inform the corporation's legal and its teams while documenting the incident as part of the security assessment. Explanation: ethical hacking and penetration testing must comply with global cybersecurity laws and best practices such as Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, CFA, US. Ethical hackers must have explicit authorization from the company before testing. EU Cybersecurity Act, a DDO. Companies must ensure data integrity and prevent unnecessary service disruptions. ISO 27001 Information Security Management requires documentation of security incidents and their impact. Why the other options are incorrect. Public statement: publicly disclosing the issue prematurely could violate confidentiality agreements and damage the corporation's reputation. C. Continue testing without notifying the corporation. Continuing without transparency increases legal and contractual risks. D. Delete records. Covering up incidents could lead to legal repercussions under cyber laws and compliance regulations. The best approach is to immediately inform the corporation, document the issue, and collaborate on resolution while ensuring future testing follows strict security protocols. Question 9. A global e-commerce company recently suffered a large-scale data breach exposing millions of customers' personal and payment information. Under global data breach notification laws, what are the company's obligations in handling the breach, and what steps should it take to ensure compliance? A. Notify affected customers, regulatory authorities, and law enforcement within the legally mandated time frame while implementing enhanced security measures. B. Offer financial compensation to affected customers but delay notification to avoid reputational damage. C. Immediately delete all compromised data and deny any breach to prevent customer panic. D. Restrict access to the company's platform while conducting an investigation. only notifying authorities if forced by regulators. Answer: notify affected customers, regulatory authorities, and law enforcement within the legally mandated time frame while implementing enhanced security measures. Explanation: under global data breach notification laws, companies are legally required to disclose breaches in a timely manner. DDAU requires breach notification within 72 hours to regulatory authorities EPA, California, USA. Notifying affected individuals without unreasonable delay. Australia's Notifiable Data Breaches and DB scheme requires businesses to notify affected individuals and regulators as soon as practicable, while the other options are incorrect. B. Delay notification to avoid reputation damage. DDR and other laws impose strict timeframes for reporting breaches. Delays can result in heavy fines. C. Denying the breach. Breach is illegal at DDE and other cybersecurity laws. D. Restricting access and investigating first. While investigation is important, notification cannot be postponed indefinitely unless legally justified. The correct response is to notify regulators, affected users, and law enforcement promptly while implementing stronger security measures to prevent future breaches. Question 10. A large pharmaceutical company is developing a blockchain-based system to track the supply chain of prescription drugs, ensuring transparency and security. However, concerns arise regarding compliance with data privacy laws and the immutability of blockchain records. How should the company address these regulatory and privacy challenges? A. Implement a hybrid blockchain system allowing selective data modification to comply with data privacy laws. B. Store all sensitive patient data on the blockchain to ensure transparency and prevent tampering. C. Use blockchain only for non-sensitive data, storing personal and medical records in a traditional database. D. Disable key features of the blockchain to comply with privacy laws, limiting its functionality. Answer: implement a hybrid blockchain system allowing selective data modification to comply with data privacy laws. Explanation: blockchain introduces data immutability challenges that must align with privacy laws such as DDE right to erasure. Article 17 requires users to have the ability to delete personal data, which conflicts with blockchain's permanent records. The HIPAA USA mandates strict controls on how patient health data is stored and shared. China's PIPL requires companies to offer data correction and deletion mechanisms. Why the other options are incorrect. B. Store all data on blockchain. Personal data should not be permanently stored on an ledger due to legal requirements for data modification. C. Use blockchain only for non-sensitive data. This limits blockchain's advantages in security and transparency. D. Disabling blockchain features. Weakening the core functionality of blockchain defeats its purpose for supply chain security. Hybrid blockchain allows for privacy-compliant data handling, ensuring regulatory compliance while maintaining blockchain's integrity. Security benefits. Question 11. In a high-stakes environment where multiple challenges impact decision-making, a healthcare organization is transitioning from paper-based records to an advanced electronic health record system. Some employees resist the change due to concerns about workflow disruption and data security. What is the best approach to ensure a smooth transition? A. Mandate immediate adoption and penalize employees who resist the change. B. Provide extensive training sessions and allow a phased transition to ease the learning curve. C. Implement the system without prior consultation to expedite the transition. D. Assign responsibility for adoption solely to the department without involving medical staff. Answer: B. Provide extensive training sessions and allow a phased transition to ease the learning curve. Explanation: a phased transition with comprehensive training minimizes resistance and ensures a smooth workflow adaptation. Change management theories like Kotter's 8-step process emphasize the need for employee involvement, training, and gradual adoption. Healthcare regulations, HIPAA High-Tech Act, require secure implementation of systems. Other options are incorrect. Mandating immediate adoption. Forcing adoption without support leads to high resistance and increased errors. C. No consultation. Ignoring input from end users, doctors, nurses can lead to implementation failure. D. At only responsibility. Medical staff must be actively involved as they are primary users of Strategic, well-supported transition ensures efficiency, security, and compliance. Question 12. When developing a solution that must address opposing needs, a logistics company must balance cost reduction with improved delivery speed. What is the most effective way to achieve this goal? A. Focus solely on reducing costs even if delivery speed decreases. B. Implement route optimization technology and negotiate bulk shipping discounts. C. Increase delivery speed by using more expensive shipping methods without cost analysis. D. Reduce delivery frequency to cut costs regardless of customer impact. Answer B. Implement route optimization technology and negotiate bulk shipping discounts. Explanation. Balancing cost and speed requires an efficient logistics strategy. Route optimization technology, AI-driven mapping, predictive analytics, reduces transit time while minimizing fuel costs. Bulk shipping discounts allow cost savings without sacrificing speed, while the other options are incorrect. Cost focus only. Sacrificing speed affects customer satisfaction and market competitiveness. C. Speed focus only. Increasing speed without cost control may result in unsustainable expenses. D. Reducing frequency. This disrupts supply chain reliability. A data-driven logistics approach optimizes both cost efficiency and speed. Question 13. In an environment where different components must interact seamlessly, a financial institution is integrating a new fraud detection system into its existing banking infrastructure. However, the new system sometimes flags legitimate transactions as fraudulent. What is the best approach to improve accuracy? A. Low fraud detection thresholds to minimize false positives. B. Implement machine learning models with continuous feedback loops to refine accuracy. C. Disable the fraud detection system for low-risk customers. D. Rely solely on manual review teams to verify flagged transactions. Answer B. Implement machine learning models with continuous feedback loops to refine accuracy. Explanation. Fraud detection must balance security and customer convenience. Machine learning models improve over time by learning from false positives and false negatives. Continuous feedback loops enhance accuracy and adaptability. Why the other options are incorrect. Lowering thresholds. Reducing sensitivity increases fraud risk. C. Disabling system for low customers. Even low-risk customers can be targeted. D. Manual review only. Manual reviews are slow, costly, and inefficient. An AI-driven fraud detection system ensures efficiency and accuracy. Question 14. While analyzing the root causes of sequential problems in a supply chain, a manufacturing company notices that delays in raw material delivery lead to increased production costs and missed deadlines. What is the best approach to address this issue? A. Increase inventory levels significantly to avoid shortages. B. Implement predictive analytics to anticipate delays and adjust orders proactively. C. Rely only on alternative suppliers whenever a delay occurs. D. Penalize suppliers for every delay without analyzing root causes. Answer B. Implement predictive analytics to anticipate delays and adjust orders proactively. Explanation. A data-driven approach using predictive analytics anticipates supply chain disruptions before they occur, helps adjust orders dynamically based on risk assessment, while the other options are incorrect. Increasing inventory significantly ties up work and capital and increases storage costs. C. Using alternative suppliers only. Switching can lead to inconsistent quality and higher costs. D. Penalizing suppliers only doesn't solve the underlying problem and may strain supplier relationships. A proactive, technology-driven strategy ensures efficiency and cost savings. Question 15. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted, a telecommunications company must restore network services after a natural disaster. What is the best strategy for prioritizing recovery efforts? A. Focus only on high population areas to restore service quickly. B. Deploy mobile network units and prioritize critical infrastructure first. C. Wait for full damage assessments before starting recovery operations. D. Restore services randomly as resources become available. Answer B. Deploy mobile network units and prioritize critical infrastructure first. Explanation. Disaster recovery requires strategic prioritization. Mobile network units, CAUs, cell on wheels, provide immediate temporary coverage. Critical infrastructure, hospitals, emergency response centers must be restored first. Why the other options are incorrect. Focusing only on high population areas neglects essential emergency services. C. Waiting for full assessments delays critical response efforts. D. Random restoration leads to inefficiency and prolonged service disruptions. A structured recovery plan ensures both public safety and service continuity. Question 16. When implementing backup procedures across various departments in A financial institution, inconsistencies in data backup frequency and storage locations are detected. What is the best approach to standardize backup processes? A. Centralize all backups in a single cloud provider to simplify storage. B. Establish a standardized backup policy with redundancy across multiple locations. C. Rely on each department to manage its own backups independently. D. Increase backup frequency without considering storage constraints. Answer B. Establish a standardized backup policy with redundancy across multiple locations. Explanation. Effective data backup management ensures business continuity. Standardized policies prevent inconsistencies. Redundant backups across multiple locations protect against localized failures, while the other options are incorrect. Single cloud provider only creates a single point of failure. C. Department level independence. Fragmented and inconsistent backups. D. Frequent backups without constraints may overwhelm storage capacity. A well-structured, redundant backup strategy ensures data security and reliability. Question 17. In a situation where formal requirements conflict with operational efficiency, a regulatory agency enforces strict documentation policies that slow down a company's workflow. What is the best way to address this issue? A. Ignore regulatory requirements to maintain speed. B. Automate documentation processes to improve efficiency. C. Challenge the regulations legally to avoid compliance. D. Assign additional personnel solely for compliance tasks. Answer B. Automate documentation processes to improve efficiency. Explanation. Automation balances compliance and efficiency. AI-driven documentation tools speed up record keeping while ensuring accuracy, reduces manual workload, allowing employees to focus on core tasks, while the other options are incorrect. Ignoring regulations results in penalties and legal risks. C. Legal challenges. Costly and time-consuming with uncertain outcomes. Hiring more staff for compliance only increases operational costs without solving the efficiency problem. Automation enables regulatory compliance without productivity loss. Question 18. When scaling up operations that experience significant inefficiencies, a growing tech company notices that its software deployment processes cause frequent system downtimes. What is the best way to improve efficiency while maintaining growth? A. Implement DevOps practices to streamline continuous integration and deployment. B. Delay software updates to reduce downtime. C. Rely on manual approvals for every deployment. D. Expand the team without changing existing processes. Answer. Implement DevOps practices to streamline continuous integration and deployment. Explanation. DevOps principles enhance software deployment efficiency, continuous integration, continuous deployment. SICT automates updates with minimal downtime, reduces manual errors, and accelerates deployment cycles, while the other options are incorrect. B. Delaying updates leaves systems vulnerable to bugs and security threats. C. Manual approvals only slows down operations and increases bottlenecks. D. Expanding the team only without process improvements, inefficiencies remain. A DevOps-driven approach ensures scalability and operational resilience. Question 19. In a multi-location scenario where consistency requirements are essential, a retail company struggles with different pricing strategies across its stores, leading to customer confusion. What is the best way to establish uniform pricing? A. Implement a centralized pricing management system with real-time updates. B. Allow each store to set prices based on local market conditions. C. Standardize pricing manually through periodic store visits. D. Reduce product variety to simplify pricing policies. And implement a centralized pricing management system with real-time updates. Explanation. A centralized pricing system ensures uniformity across locations while allowing flexibility for local adjustments, real-time price updates, reducing discrepancies in customer complaints, while the other options are incorrect. B. Local pricing without standardization leads to inconsistency in customer dissatisfaction. C. Manual standardization. Inefficient and error-prone. D. Reducing variety only doesn't address the core pricing issue. A data-driven pricing strategy ensures consistency and customer trust. Question 20. During a seamless transition where continuity must be maintained, a multinational corporation is migrating to a new enterprise resource planning system. What is the best way to ensure minimal disruption? A. Implement the new ERP system in phases with parallel testing. B. Switch to the new system immediately without prior testing. C. Rely on the vendor for full implementation without internal oversight. D. Use both the old and new systems indefinitely to avoid risk. Answer. Implement the new ERP system in phases with parallel testing. Explanation. A phased ERP implementation ensures smooth transition and minimal risk. Parallel testing identifies issues before full deployment. Gradual rollout prevents workflow disruptions, while the other options are incorrect. B. Immediate switch without testing. High risk of failure and operational downtime. C. Vendor-only implementation lacks internal control and customization. Using both systems indefinitely causes data inconsistencies and inefficiencies. A strategic migration plan ensures ERP success and business continuity. Question 21. In a high-stakes environment where multiple challenges must be addressed simultaneously, a hospital is implementing a new electronic health record system. However, medical staff are struggling with adoption due to unfamiliarity and workflow disruptions. What is the best way to facilitate the smooth transition? A. Provide extensive hands-on training before and after implementation. B. Mandate immediate usage without support to encourage adaptation. C. Assign one representative to handle all system-related concerns. D. Gradually phase in only certain departments over multiple years. Answer. Provide extensive hands-on training before and after implementation. Explanation. A comprehensive training program ensures staff competency, reducing resistance to change, fewer workflow disruptions, and faster adaptation. Post-implementation support to resolve unexpected challenges, while the other options are incorrect. B. Forcing immediate usage without support increases errors, frustration, and resistance. C. One represent handling all issues. Unrealistic workload that doesn't scale for large institutions. D. Extremely slow rollout. Delays hospital-wide efficiency improvements. A well-structured training and support system ensures successful adoption. Question 22. When developing a solution that must address opposing needs, a company is designing a new customer service chatbot. While automation speeds up responses, some customers prefer human interaction for complex issues. What is the best approach to balance these concerns? A. Implement a hybrid system that allows seamless transition from chatbot to human agent. B. Fully automate the chatbot and remove human agents to cut costs. C. Require all customer inquiries to go through a chatbot before escalation. D. Provide only human agents but reduce support hours to offset costs. Correct answer. Implement a hybrid system that allows seamless transition from chatbot to human agent. Explanation. A hybrid chatbot human system ensures fast responses for common issues, human support availability for complex cases, better customer satisfaction by offering flexibility, while the other options are incorrect. B. Full automation without human agents leads to customer frustration for complex issues. C. Mandatory chatbot approach can delay urgent customer needs. D. Only human agents with reduced hours decreases availability and increases wait times. A balanced, adaptive system ensures efficiency and customer satisfaction. Question 23. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted, a logistics company must distribute relief supplies to affected regions. Some locations are harder to reach due to damaged infrastructure. What is the best strategy for efficient distribution? A. Prioritize deliveries based on need and accessibility while using alternative routes. B. Wait until all transportation routes are cleared before dispatching supplies. C. Deliver supplies randomly as resources become available. D. Focus on urban areas first, as they have higher population densities. Answer. Prioritize deliveries based on need and accessibility while using alternative routes. Explanation. A prioritization strategy ensures critical supplies reach the most affected regions first. Alternative routes maintain efficiency despite obstacles. Optimized resource allocation prevents supply chain bottlenecks, while the other options are incorrect. B. Waiting for full clearance delays critical aid to people in immediate need. C. Random deliveries leads to inefficiencies and resource misallocation. D. Urban areas first without consideration of need neglects rural or high-impact zones. A structured, need-based distribution plan ensures timely and effective relief efforts. Question 24. While examining inconsistencies across various units, a multinational company finds that its financial reporting varies significantly between regions. What is the most effective approach to standardize reporting? A. Implement a unified financial reporting system with clear guidelines. B. Allow each region to maintain its own unique reporting standards. C. Rely on manual audits to catch inconsistencies over time. D. Reduce operations in regions that fail to comply with standard reporting. Answer. Implement a unified financial reporting system with clear guidelines. Explanation. A standardized financial reporting system ensures consistency across regions, improving accuracy, regulatory compliance, reducing legal risks, improved decision-making with comparable data. Why the other options are incorrect. B. Allowing unique regional standards leads to inconsistencies and compliance issues. C. Manual audits only. Time-consuming, doesn't prevent ongoing discrepancies. D. Reducing operations in non-compliant regions. Extreme approach, not viable long-term solution. Centralized financial framework ensures transparency and operational efficiency. Question 25. During a major transformation where existing methods no longer suffice, a tech firm is shifting from on-premise servers to cloud infrastructure. What is the best strategy for a smooth transition? A. Migrate in phases while ensuring system compatibility and security. B. Shut down on-premise servers immediately and fully switch to cloud. C. Rely entirely on third-party providers without internal oversight. D. Use both systems indefinitely to avoid disruption. Answer. Migrate in phases while ensuring system compatibility and security. Explanation. A phased migration strategy ensures minimal service disruptions during the transition. Security protocols remain intact throughout the process. Scalability and flexibility of cloud solutions are optimized, while the other options are incorrect. B. Immediate shutdown without transition period can lead to data loss and downtime. C. No internal oversight reduces control over security and performance. D. Indefinite dual system use leads to operational inefficiencies and cost overruns. A structured, gradual cloud migration ensures long-term stability and efficiency. Question 26. In a situation where resource allocation becomes challenging, a university must distribute limited funding across multiple research projects. What is the most effective way to allocate resources fairly? A. Use a merit-based system that evaluates impact, feasibility, and necessity. B. Distribute funds equally to all projects regardless of potential impact. C. Focus only on the most established research teams. D. Assign funding randomly to prevent favoritism. Answer. Use a merit-based system that evaluates impact, feasibility, and necessity. Explanation. A merit-based allocation system ensures optimal use of limited resources. Funding goes to high-impact and feasible projects. Transparent decision-making that reduces bias. Why the other options are incorrect. B. Equal distribution without consideration of impact. Wastes funds on low-priority projects. C. Favoring established teams. Limits innovation and new ideas. D. Random distribution results in inefficient use of funds. A data-driven funding strategy ensures fair and effective resource allocation. Question 27. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted, a government agency must coordinate efforts between healthcare, law enforcement, and logistics teams. What is the most effective approach to ensure smooth collaboration? A. Establish a centralized command center with clear roles and real-time communication. B. Allow each department to operate independently and report progress later. C. Assign all coordination responsibilities to a single department. D. Implement a rigid protocol that cannot be adjusted during the crisis. Answer. Establish a centralized command center with clear roles and real-time communication. Explanation. A centralized command center ensures efficient coordination between multiple departments, real-time data sharing, enabling fast decision-making, clear role assignments, reducing confusion and inefficiencies. Why the other options are incorrect. B. Independent departmental operations leads to miscommunication and inefficiencies. C. Department managing everything overwhelms a single team and limits expertise sharing. D. Rigid protocols without flexibility fails to adapt to unpredictable crisis situations. A well-structured command system ensures a coordinated emergency response. Question 28. In a scenario where efficiency decreases across multiple departments, a large retail company notices delays in inventory restocking, order processing, and customer service. What is the best solution to improve efficiency? A. Conduct a process audit to identify bottlenecks and implement targeted improvements. B. Increase staff workload without making process adjustments. C. Implement a new system without analyzing existing inefficiencies. D. Focus on just one department first, even if other areas remain inefficient. Answer. Conduct a process audit to identify bottlenecks and implement targeted improvements. Explanation. A process audit ensures root causes of inefficiencies are identified, strategic improvements can be implemented in critical areas, holistic approach ensuring all departments function smoothly, while the other options are incorrect. B. Increasing workload without fixing processes leads to burnout without solving inefficiencies. C. System without analysis may introduce new problems instead of solving existing ones. D. Focusing on one department only. Other departments remain inefficient, affecting overall operations. A data-driven, process-oriented approach ensures long-term efficiency. Question 29. When implementing new protocols in a shared environment, a hospital introduces stricter hygiene regulations to prevent infections. However, compliance rates are low among staff. What is the best way to increase adherence? A. Conduct mandatory training and provide clear guidelines with frequent reinforcement. B. Enforce penalties immediately without warning to ensure compliance. C. Rely solely on peer monitoring without official oversight. D. Expect voluntary compliance without formal enforcement. Answer. Conduct mandatory training and provide clear guidelines with frequent reinforcement. Explanation. A structured training and reinforcement strategy ensures staff understands the importance of hygiene protocols. Regular reminders reinforce compliance. Training corrects misunderstandings and improves adherence. Why the other options are incorrect. B. Strict penalties without warning creates resistance rather than cooperation. C. Monitoring without oversight. Inconsistent enforcement leads to compliance gaps. D. Voluntary compliance without enforcement. Most staff may ignore the protocols over time. A training-first approach builds a culture of compliance and patient safety. Question 30. While analyzing the root causes of sequential problems in a manufacturing plant, a manager finds that machine failures lead to production delays, which then cause shipment backlogs. What is the best long-term solution? A. Implement a predictive maintenance system to prevent machine failures. B. Increase overtime work to make up for lost production. C. Accept occasional delays as an unavoidable industry challenge. D. Reduce the number of machines in use to lower the chance of failures. Answer. Implement a predictive maintenance system to prevent machine failures. Explanation. A predictive maintenance system ensures early detection of machine issues, preventing failures, reduced downtime, improving production efficiency, low repair costs by addressing problems proactively, while the other options are incorrect. B. Overtime work as a fix, temporary solution that leads to worker fatigue and higher costs. C. Accepting delays as normal. Profitability and customer satisfaction. D. Reducing machines to avoid failures, slows production and reduces efficiency. A technology-driven maintenance approach ensures smoother operations and fewer disruptions.